Hello everybody, this is FireAlarm5000 and I am here with...
The SDX, also known as Destin, or Destin, also known as the SDX, whichever way you want to go.
Well, we are here today because, I've recently been getting messages and comments regarding why I have not made videos in a long time, and Destin here has also been getting messages and comments as well as to why he doesn't make any videos, and we wanted to clarify and clear up any reasons why we kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth with any videos that were being made. Destin, if you want to go first with your reasons, I'll go right after you.
Yeah, so I think I stopped making videos around like 2016 or so. The last video I made was with this 4010 demo system that you might be able to see over my shoulder right here. And mostly I just kind of stopped because I became really busy with college. I graduated last year with a bachelor's degree in psychology and then went to grad school for a little while. So I just didn't have as much time to make videos. The other thing, too, is I just kind of ran out of content to make. I feel like I pretty much bought every alarm that I ever wanted or could buy. So I just didn't really have too many new ideas to make videos for, and I didn't want to just keep making videos of the same thing. And plus, I've just kind of lost interest over the years. I still have a little bit of interest in fire alarms. Like I have these demo systems here in my studio just because sometimes I'm in the mood to pull a pull station. But so yeah, I don't really plan on making any new videos, at least anytime soon. So yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, that's kind of like what happened with me. The last video I posted was in August of 2016. Right around that same time, my grandfather actually passed away, and I decided that just to kind of take a break for a little while. And over time, since 2013, after I had my major surgery back in 2012, I wanted to I was really in bad shape with my physical health because at first I thought I was diagnosed with a pinched nerve in my lower back, but it turns out I actually suffer from a form of rheumatoid arthritis. And when that gets aggravated, I am basically in so much pain that my leg basically stops moving and I can't even move at all. I'm like bedridden and I can't even move at all. It just it sucks essentially.
Oh wow, yeah.
So when I was starting to become really inflamed with that pain, I decided to kind of just take time for myself to kind of rejuvenate my health. And at the same time, my job situation wasn't really going well because at the time I was working at a restaurant and they were actually on the verge of closing down. They filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And so when that happened, I was basically out of a job for a while. And for the time being, I had to work with my dad just to kind of make money on the side. And since I was in still so much agony, I really couldn't do anything about it. So I was kind of bedridden and just kind of stuck at home for the time being. But when I started making videos again in 2015, around the same time, it was kind of a really good peak in my life because I was really focused on doing something fun and creative, and that's why I decided to go back to the Fire Alarm channel for a while. But instead of going back to my old alias as FireAlarm2 Tech 9, I decided to change it to FireAlarm5000. The reason being is because I just kind of wanted to start fresh, and so that's what I decided to do was go with a new alias. And at the same time, my brother and his wife were actually moving out of their apartment, and they wanted to move in here because they wanted to save money to buy a house. So when that happened, I decided to change rooms from the room I'm currently in, which, by the way, if you all may notice, I'm actually in my old room now, and it's definitely a lot different than it was before. But so at that time, I decided to move into the other room, which is my guest room right next door, because my brother wanted an entertainment room that was a little bit bigger so he could fit his big screen TV and all of his video games. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. I'll switch rooms for the time being. So I moved into the other room, and that's when I constructed my new system. And at the same time, I was at a really big peak. I was actually starting to put videos out left and right, every week. But then it started slowing down because when you become overwhelmed with something because you're doing it constantly, it actually tires you out, and you just feel like not doing anything, and you just kind of want to take a small break. Well, I kind of started slowing down with the video uploads because at the same time I was actually really busy with work because I got promoted to management and I was working left and right. Like I was working probably like 60 plus hours a week, and I was just so exhausted because I was just like constantly on my feet. Like I didn't really want to do anything. So at the same time, because of that, I also started kind of losing interest because I was just putting out videos like left and right. And you got to admit though, from like when you and I started back in 2008, because that was 10 years ago when we started collecting.
Yeah.
It was amazing like how far we've come with that.
That's crazy. It totally doesn't seem like 10 years ago.
It really doesn't. Like April 8th, 2008 was like my first video, I remember, because I got 2 devices in the mail. And at the same time, I mean, I'm sure you remember Charlie, Soccer Dude 7330.
Yeah.
That was the first guy I ever started talking to, and then I started talking to New Age Server Alarm for a while. And I just made friends with everybody in that community because there was you, there was Andrew, there was Weather Dan 88 2002, there was Enlin, there was and Coffee and Sugar 20. There was a bunch of people at our time that was collecting fire alarms left and right and making videos. But I mean, it just happens though. We get older now. I mean, I'm 26 now, and I mean now that fire alarm collecting is kind of like slowing down for like a lot of people because a lot of our friends don't even post videos anymore.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad because we just started losing interest over time, and it's not intentional. I mean, we don't really want it to happen, but I mean, if it does, I mean, it just happens like that because
well, a lot of people that I've talked to, they're all like doing really cool things with their life now, and so they've kind of lost interest in fire alarms. But I think we've all moved on to some really cool stuff. Like with myself, I'm a full-time musician, and I just put out a record. My name is Destin LaCornu, if some of you don't know, and the record I put out is called Stories Without Ends. And so it took me about 2 years to make that, recorded it in my home studio. So I've been busy with stuff like that. I also play out as a session musician with some local bands and do some recording sessions. So that's been taking up most of my time these days.
Same with me, like, because like Destin here, I'm actually a full-time musician myself, and I've actually been in that same transitional period in 2016 when I started losing interest. My first band that I created with a friend of mine was called Thrash Can. That unfortunately died out because there was just a dispute among the members that I was not able to fix, so I decided to kind of back away from that and do something new. And at the same time, one of my old guitar players that I knew wanted to start something new with me. And at the time, he was stationed in Fort Campbell, Kentucky for the military. When he came back, he and I decided to start a new project, and we got a bunch of new musicians, and we've been playing left and right with all these different bands around here, and been traveling, trying to travel out of state to play some shows. And we actually have a new EP coming out in May, and we're excited about that. So we're going to be promoting that for a while, and that's pretty much been taking my time along with making music and to kind of focus on other things in my personal life as well. That's the only thing that takes my time, basically, is working on these new projects and trying to get my life together because I'm 26 now, like I said, and I still live with my folks, and I kind of want to like get out of here and move on with my life because when you still focus on something as a kid, like it can be fun, but it also it gets old after a while because you just kind of want to move on to bigger and better things because one can only do so much with a fire alarm system as a whole hobby. Like you can only make so many videos, and then like out of like basically, let's just say like someone puts out like 20 videos a month, like that could be overwhelming, but it also could be very tiring because it's pretty much the same repetitive steps like left and right.
Right, yeah. That's kind of how I felt about it. Like I always wanted to only put out like decent content on my channel that was showing something new, something interesting. I didn't just want to like rehash the same videos, every week. And so if I didn't have anything really new to show, I didn't just want to upload a video for the sake of doing it. So there kind of reached a point where I just started to get bored with it because I had spent a lot of money on like a bunch of different panels and alarms, and I was kind of thinking, wow, where do I go from here? Like I've got a bunch of addressable panels and voice evac panels. I mean, I think once you kind of buy all of the panels that that collectors who aren't technicians, who don't have like, software and dongle keys can use. You kind of do all that you can do as a collector.
Exactly, and I mean that's what happened to me is because I bought my 4010 back in 2012 because I went through so many different panels, like because my first panel was a homemade, the AlertTech panel that a New Age Server Alarm made for me, because at the time I was not financially stable enough to actually afford my own panel. But then, do you remember Trainmaster 1212, Jeremy?
Oh yeah.
He actually allowed me to borrow his Firelight MS5UD because at the same time you actually had one as well. And I remember that you were so sad because you blew the neck on it.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that was. I remember just reading about that. I was just like, that's gotta suck. But
yeah.
So at the same time, I wanted the Firelight MS5UD as well, but because Firelight panels and simplex notification appliances don't really work well together, I was kind of like stuck with what I really could do, and I also sold off like majority of my collection at the time. I don't know why I did that. I was so stupid to do something like that. So, I held on to the Firelight MS5UD for probably 2 years, and then I sent it back to Jeremy because I wanted to kind of like do something new with my system. Plus, because I was trying to pay off for the Firelight MS5UD so I could keep it, but at the same time it was 2011, and I was like not financially stable at all because I had a job back in June of that year, but then I lost it, and then I was unemployed again from June 2011 till about November of 2012 because at the time, if you remember, I underwent surgery.
Yeah. So
I went to figure that out and just kind of like take time for myself. And when I had the money to really be able to afford a new panel, that's when I bought the EST1 that I had for a while. I only used that for one video, I remember, because at the same time there was a deal going on for a 4010, which I snagged at the last minute. I was like so happy to get that. So I sold off the EST1, I got the 4010, and that's been the panel that I've had ever since. So,
yeah, I've had my 4010 since I think 2010. It came new in the box. I was like, I think the first owner, another collector, sold it to me, but they got it on eBay, brand new, never used, and so that's the panel I've hung on to, and like I've bought and sold a lot of other stuff, but it's just kind of such a great panel for what it is. So I still have that one. I have a Gamewell FCI 7100, which I don't know if you can see, but it's over there. I've got a little demo board that I made that I just realized I never made a video showing that. But I've still got that one, and then I've still got the Honeywell FS90 in my closet, which I'll probably never sell because it weighs like 300 pounds nearly.
Yeah. Unless you sell it locally or something.
Yeah, I don't even know who would want to buy that locally, but
yeah, no.
As long as I have space to store the stuff I still have, I plan on keeping it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because that's what I did with my stuff as well. Because I mean, my 4010 and all of my system is actually still intact. I have yet to remove it because now that I'm moved in here, I got to take it down. And what I plan on doing is actually doing something very similar to the SDX, and that is actually taking the system and putting it onto a demo board. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you remember Destin's video from early 2016. He made a demo board, and that's what I want to do as well. Is actually put a demo board together with both my Simplex 4010 and my Silent SK2 that I still have. Pretty much the only things that are still left on my system are just the 3 notification appliances, the 2 pull stations, the smoke detector, and the panel itself. The SK2 and all the other alarm devices that I have are actually in storage right now, which I can have access to anytime if I wanted to play around with anything. For right now, I just kept everything intact, and I actually have to go in there and actually deconstruct it very soon, so that way I can salvage it for something else. And plus, my mom's like saying, "Get it out of there." I'm like, okay. So.
Yeah, we were talking earlier. Demo boards are great because I know I'm probably going to be moving to a new place at some point, like this summer or this fall, and so it's really nice to just be able to kind of take it with you and not have to like tear a system off the wall and everything and then set it all back up again. So I've got these 2 demo boards, and like I said, as long as I can find a place to store them, I can keep them forever.
Oh, absolutely. And That's what I plan on doing as well, is just having something that I could play around with, because if I when I do have time to actually start making videos again, like, I may do something like that. But for right now, like, my interest level's kind of like down low because I'm so busy with other things as well, and I haven't really been able to make any videos because at the same time I was at my peak with FireAlarm5000 and making all those videos. I was actually starting up a new channel showing my art skills, and that was when I was creating. Destin, do you know what a cell is?
A cell?
An animated cell?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, it's basically I think I might have one around here somewhere, but it's basically a transparent sheet that was used in the older days of animation, like Looney Tunes, Disney cartoons, like all of that. It's a transparent sheet that you actually use to outline, and you flip it over and you paint the back. That's what gives old-fashioned cartoons their color and inking. So,
okay.
And I actually learned about that for a while, and I kind of wanted to do something kind of similar to that. And so when I started doing that, like, I really became really good at it, and I really wanted to keep going with it. But at the same time, like, when I was in that down low feeling when I was with FireAlarm 5000, at the same time I kind of like took a break from doing any art videos because I just kind of wanted to like kind of just doing my own thing and just kind of like relax until I really healed up with my back. Because when I found out I did have rheumatoid arthritis, I was really like, I just felt like really crappy. I didn't really want to do anything, so that's kind of like what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I'd love to start like a channel of some kind, because I just kind of miss doing the whole YouTube thing. But I've never really had like a specific thing that I think would like be something people would really want to see. I've thought about doing like a music related channel. Like I do have my original music on YouTube, which just actually gets automatically put on there because I use CD Baby to release my music, and so they just throw it up on YouTube. But I've thought of doing something where either I'm like playing covers or maybe showing gear demos, tutorials, things like that. But yeah, I'd love to do just some kind of YouTube something again.
Yeah, same here. I want to get back on YouTube and actually do something that's new and like original, because I wanted to start up a gaming channel where I started talking about different games and stuff, because I've been a game collector since I was like 17. And then kind of like you, do something with music, because I'm a drummer as well, and I want to do covers with all these different bands and all this different metal music, because metal and rock are my two genres to go for when it comes to drums. And then do something kind of with movies. Like I'm very huge into arts and entertainment, so I kind of want to like get back into that realm of things. But at the same time, it's difficult to really figure out what it is you want to do, because when you get such a major creative block, you just don't know exactly what to do, and you just feel so wiped out. And I've had that so many times, even before I started doing YouTube stuff, because back then I was always writing scripts for movies that I always wanted to do as a kid, and it just took like so much out of me. But then when I got a major creative block, you're just like, you gotta distance yourself out from it, go do something else, and like kind of like focus on like, if you focus on something else, like ideas will come to you. And then the only problem is with me is because I have the tendency to forget things pretty damn quickly. So that's the only problem.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. My interests in anything just seem to ebb and flow, and I find that sometimes when I take myself a little bit too seriously and put too much pressure on myself to kind of meet a certain standard of quality that I'm setting for myself, I can quickly become disillusioned with it. So I just try to like keep it fun, keep it real, and if I'm getting kind of burned out on something, just go do something else and then come back to it, and inevitably you'll have taken something away from your experience away from it, and kind of be all the better for it.
Exactly. And the other factor about it is time, because you always got to like sit down and actually take the time to really do something. And that's like, that was the only problem with me with the FireAlarm stuff as well, is because I just didn't have any time to really sit down and actually make a video, because there was a couple contributing factors about that. And one was like, you're basically repeating yourself every time you make a video with the same stuff, and just like swapping out new devices and whatnot. And you also have to have the time. And when you become an adult, when you become 21 and you're working and doing all this other stuff, you're busy. Like, you don't have time to really focus on any hobby unless you really can make yourself have the time to do it. But because I have so many other things going on, I can't really focus on it. And number three, if if you're not showing too much dedication, then it's like, why, why really do it? Like, if you want to just do it just to please people, but if you're not pleasing yourself, that's the other reason as well. You got to enjoy what you do. And at the time, I did enjoy it, and I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed it as well. But when you become like so, like, just what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, when you become so overwhelmed because you're doing it constantly,
just kind of stuck in.
Yeah.
You like stuck in a rut.
Exactly. You're just like burned out. You just want to like forget about it. And that's kind of like what happened to me, because I was at a big peak back from 2008 to 2010, and then 2012 to 2013, and then again 2015 to 2016. I was in major peak, and I just decided, you know what? Like, those were my big peaks. But I mean, eventually I might have those again. But at the same time, like, for you and I, the community, like, we knew back in the day, is not the same anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot. I haven't really kept up too much with like the fire alarm community. I've been on the fire panel forums occasionally. I always kind of poke my head in there, but yeah, I don't really watch too many like videos anymore. So actually, to all of you who are watching, if you can like recommend me any of the kind of current fire alarm people who are making really cool content, I would love to like see some stuff.
In fact, there was actually one channel, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I was actually a really big fan of it, because I still watch them on occasionally just to kind of keep my spirits up, so in case I do decide to go back, I want to like and actually enjoy watching and making a fire alarm video. And whenever I go out too, I'm always I'm always looking at systems. Like, I'm always intrigued to see what kind of systems in one building.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
Me too.
In fact, I actually have a story for you in just a minute. But the one channel I would definitely recommend to you that is, it's not a collector, but he's a guy that goes out and demonstrates all these different systems, and that's Safe Tech. I'm not sure if you've heard of him.
Oh yeah. That is the one channel I've kind of been watching lately, because it's like every video is something really awesome, and he seems like a really nice YouTuber too. Like, he responds to people's comments. Yeah,
he seems like a very genuine individual, and that's what intrigued me to watch his videos, because, like, I'm sure you remember Simplex Tech too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was just a real comment withheld. But no, Safe Tech, and there's a few other ones that are there as well. But one of the other factors too is that when I started expanding my setup and I was utilizing my tripod and making videos my own specific way, a lot of people were copying my ideas. And I mean, it's not really copyright infringement because I don't own it, but it does get kind of irritating when people kind of like take your idea and try to make it for themselves to make them a better YouTuber. My advice is, do your own original idea. Don't steal somebody else's idea. That is my thing. Because if... I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. Like, if you take somebody's idea, like, even though you don't legally own it, if you take somebody else's idea, that's not fair. To put it in simpler terms. It's not fair. You don't want to do that to people, because people have done that to me, they've done that to New Age Server Alarm, I'm pretty sure they've done it to you, and they've done it to a lot of people. I mean, granted, I mean, the videos are all the same, system test series, they're all the same, but you got to make it original. You can't, like, just take somebody's, like, original idea of how they shoot their video and turn it into your own. That stuff always irritates me, and that's what's been irritating me for a long time, too. And that's the other reason why I kind of stopped making videos, is because I was just getting irritated with how everybody was just complaining about certain things. I mean, I'm sure you've had that, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's... even, like, I remember New Age Server Alarm always... he turned into a complainer to me, just joking aside. But he and I would always talk about, like, how people were always complaining about certain things. In fact, I actually remember getting one comment on one of my videos that's saying that New Age Server Alarm is better and trying to hurt my feelings. Like, honestly, I feel indifferent about it. I really don't care.
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty sure I've gotten the same comment.
It's like, you know what, dude, just watch videos, don't hate on other people. Like, that's the thing about society nowadays, is like, people are just very selfish and rude to, like, individuals who are not, and that's the sad thing. And I don't even see that on YouTube. I see that in the world, because my girlfriend and I were talking about that. Society is completely different nowadays.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's just the sad part, and I hate seeing that. But
Yeah, I think the internet has kind of had a polarizing effect on society where people kind of are in their own echo chambers on social media. They kind of only like subscribe to content that reinforces their opinions, and so it just kind of makes everybody a little bit more extreme and a little bit more kind of, you know, us versus them. And so but yeah, I see a lot of that on YouTube and pretty much every online community I've ever been in. People kind of hide behind the mask of anonymity and just say whatever they want to say. And YouTube has not really done such a good job of like trying to, I don't know, come up with a way to reduce some of that. I mean, there's still kind of the same crap that you see in the comments section that YouTube had like years and years and years ago.
Right. It's the same thing. Like, you know, there's people out there that are just like bashing on, you know, kids and just like in general. It's like, God, what's wrong with you people? Like, I remember there was one comment I got, God, like 6 years ago when I was still FireAlarm Tech 9. I remember there was this gentleman, like, I don't even know who it was. I guess he was just a random person, but he actually would hate on my video because at the time I was dating somebody else, and she her voice could be heard in the background, and I remember he would just like bash on me because he's like telling me to basically go get laid and, you know, like stop focusing on my hobby. It's like, dude, this is what I do. Why don't you? I obviously I'm not gonna say what I really wanted to say, but I just basically told him that he needed just to, like, in the kindest way, just to go away.
Yeah.
So that was the only problem with that. But that's pretty much what I have to say regarding why I don't upload videos anymore. But I actually have a very interesting story for you as well.
Okay.
About this is about, God, like 7 months ago, probably. It was like September. I was actually was a security guard for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I became lieutenant of a security company I was there for like 3 months. And one night I was patrolling one of the buildings, and I got a call saying the fire alarm system was going off and the fire department was there. And so it was a EST. What was the EST system that you had?
I had a quick start and an IO64.
I think it was an IO64 from what I remember.
Okay.
I remember that. I think it was with that. It was an Edwards panel. I remember that, but it had Genesis horn strobes. Those things were loud. Never heard one of those in person.
Yeah.
God, I thought I was going to go deaf that night. But I remember we were circling around the floor that said it was going off. It was a duct detector, and we went around to smell smoke to see if there was any, you know, fire or anything. And so when we turned out the building was clear, we had to go back downstairs. The firefighter that was on duty asked me, do I know how to turn off this thing? And I was like, oh, do I? So my fire alarm instincts at the time was just like in my head. I was like, oh, I got this in the bag.
Nice.
So I went ahead and I acknowledged it, I silenced it, and then I reset it, and I was praying to God, please don't go off again. And then, sure enough, it didn't, and I was pretty happy. And I just remember being so proud of myself. I was like, the firefighter asked me, how'd you know how to do that stuff? I was like, I've been a fire alarm collector for almost 10 years. So.
Yeah, my I kind of have, well, not really a similar story, but my dad is a facilities manager in a big office building, and they have a pretty large simplex 4100 networked system, and nobody there, like in the facilities department, really knows how to operate the system. And it's kind of getting older. There are like a bunch of problems, a bunch of troubles and stuff. And so I sent him this. I made like a PDF diagram of like the topology of the system and explaining like, you know, what an enunciator is, you know, how a network system works, all that stuff. And it really helped him out. So he had it like professionally printed up and laminated, and it's now posted next to the fire alarm panels in the building. So yeah, sometimes your fire alarm knowledge can like come in handy when you least expect it.
Oh, exactly. I mean, like the place that's actually really good. I should, because at the time I also had my system like on 24/7, and if it were to go off, like mom wasn't home or something, I could have someone like my mom or my dad to like go in and actually figure out how to shut everything off. But
Mm-hmm.
I never got around to doing that. But the fact that you did that, especially for a big facilities place like that, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And like all this, the place that I was working for when I was a security guard, like it had like 8 different buildings, and all of them had different fire alarm systems. I mean, everything was pretty common. You know, spectral alert advances, you name it. But one building had an old FCI system, and it had it was the FCI. It was basically the knockoff of the UMMT because it had the same tones and everything. I forgot what the model number of that one was, but it had that. That was the only thing that I saw that was retro. Everything else was pretty common. So that was the only sad part. But cool. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope. I think we've pretty much said everything. Yeah.
So, but thank you guys very much for watching. We're sorry that we have not done a video in God forever. I mean, I plan on making new videos as soon as I construct a new demo board, and as soon as I get the ability to. And when I do that, I'll definitely let you guys know, and you'll see what I have in store for you guys. And do you got anything else coming up?
Nothing much. I was just thinking, this FCI system back here, I never made a demo video of that. And so if you all who are watching my channel, if that's something you might want to see, just let me know. And if there's enough interest in it, I might go ahead and throw up a new video.
Sounds good. Alrighty, guys. You guys take care, and we'll hopefully see you in another video. Take care.
All right. See you all soon.